Hi guys, SW Miron here. I hope you had a good week. I hope you're having a good day whenever you're watching this video, because even though it comes out every Tuesday at 7 p.m., you can watch it anytime. Once we get up to 50 subscribers, we're getting there. We have 39. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Once we get to 50, then I can do this live and it'll be way more fun because I'll be able to interact with you and you can actually contribute to the conversation. So it's more of an actual reciprocal conversation and not just me kind of sharing advice and stories and things. But to everyone that has been along this journey with me so far, this is episode 31 of Glass Skulls Mental Health Podcast. I am SW Miron, and I am the author of Scenes from My Skeleton Closet. It's a book that I wrote that covers the last 20 plus years of my life, battling mental illness, trauma, and addiction, and the strategies that I used to overcome some of the most challenging times in my life and most challenging times with mental illness. And I wrote, the truth, the good, bad, ugly, everything in between, every mistake I ever made, every wrong path I went down, all the stuff you wish you could do over again and do it differently. But I'm a real person. You are real people. All of us as real people make mistakes. All of us have our lives go to shit sometimes. All of us have times that we make, a choice that we thought we were making the right choice at the time. And then, looking back in retrospect, you're like, I can't even believe I did that. That wasn't what I should have done. So I just think there's a lot that can come from hearing other people's stories and other people's experiences and then being able to take what you hear from about their story and then maybe apply it to your own. So today I really want to focus on, I talked a little bit about depression last week and about how I was kind of crashing a little bit with my mental health. And it had been going down, down, down for the past probably 3.5, 4 weeks. I had been collecting data on myself per my psychiatrist's request. I had to score every day my anxiety 1 to 10, depression 1 to 10, suicide ideation 1 to 10, if there was an anxiety attack or a panic attack, and then take notes about that day. Like, was I at work? Who was at work? Was there an argument at work? Was it a night that I had dance? Was it a night that I had off? All of that information is really, really helpful, especially when you have the numbers. And I also keep track, I should say too, this is important, of the dosage of clonazepam that I take or have taken each day. So that when I go see Denise, my provider, on Monday, I'm going to hand her this grid of paperwork that I've completed for her. And she's going to be able to, have a conversation with me. And I'm sure she'll believe everything I'm saying to her without the data in front of her. But it sure is helpful to help you really kind of think, okay, wow, when I was, working in one place and it just wasn't feeling as fulfilling as, it used to feel when I was a teacher. I just started kind of getting more and more depressed, and I was doing a lot of masking. Masking, for anyone who doesn't know, is what you call it when you basically put on a smiling face, an okay face, and you're going to do everything in your power to make it so that anybody who sees you or interacts with you would never know that you literally might be feeling the absolute worst you ever felt in your entire life. So it's a very hard thing to do because it takes practice, and it's not something that I would encourage. I don't ever want anyone to mask any of your symptoms or any of what you're going through. I mean, instead of that, I'd rather you if you feel like you can't be around others or you don't want to be around certain people or environments, remove yourself from those environments. And then ultimately what I ended up having to do since the last time that I saw you guys. And it's so crazy because all the way along, I just kept saying it's fine, I'm fine. I'm lying to myself the whole way along, but it was getting me day by day through the days. So I was looking at it okay, at least I'm not all the way crashing. At least I'm not making a plan about anything, that involves suicide ideation or anything like that. But the thing about mental health, and like I've lived with pervasive mental illness since I was a young girl, and I'm 36 now. I had my birthday since we last were together. So, yeah, 36 now. And I don't know. It's just like, it's so crazy. Like I just started writing my second book, and I didn't even know if I was definitely going, like I had a different book that I had started that I thought was going to go one direction, and then it kind of fizzled out and wasn't what I was thinking it was going to turn into. But then I had a major life change a few days ago. I went on Thursday of last week to interview because I applied to like a ton of teaching jobs like at the last minute. Like some of these schools have already like had their staff come back for like professional development from the like to get ready for the school year. So I applied to all these last minute jobs, public schools, private schools, charter schools, public, private schools, like everything. I was just like, okay, I can't really be picky. I just knew how badly my heart craved to be back in that role where I felt like I knew I had made such an impact every single moment that I was there with those kids. But it's so much bigger than that because it's like giving these tiny humans who may or may not have come from a childhood where, you know, they had everything they needed, or they, you know, lived in a safe home, or even had, you know, parents around or anything. So like when you're teaching kids that are, you know, coming from like impoverished communities and, you know, maybe of low socioeconomic status, or like just in general, like those guys are a little tougher to reach. I've found, like, I've worked in public schools for 5 years, and it was two different public schools. So one was an urban school, and I love the population there, and that's what kind of made me jump at the job that I'm going to talk about in a second. But and I did teach in a more rural district, and I was a gen ed teacher during that time. The other years I was a special education teacher of various grades and kind of different programs in special education. So I started applying for jobs, right? Because I broke the news to the folks on my job that I really wasn't feeling fulfilled. I was really unhappy. And I felt like this was something that was actually like starting to slowly take me down. And I could see that like long game, but I just kept, I didn't know how to get out of the situation. I really didn't, because it was one that was very sensitive, and I didn't know if it was going to like impact relationships I have with the people that I've worked with and stuff like that, being that they're my family. But they were so understanding, and I'm so grateful that I just took the moment and broke down and was honest and told them that I really wanted to go back to pursuing being a teacher. I took a 3-year hiatus, and during that time, it's been amazing. I wrote this book. I have given, you know, some keynote speaker presentations about my story, and I was in a documentary for Trey Love in Her Arms. I wish I could say I'm sponsored by Trey Love in Her Arms, but it's not the truth. I more or less sponsor them because I have so much of their clothing and just stuff of theirs, because it just, everywhere I go, it's like a symbol of like hope for me. So I don't know, very visual person. Anyway, long story short, I applied to 5 jobs. I got callbacks for all 5 of them, and they were scheduling interviews. Like some were phone, some were in person, some were the second round, some were the, like it was all at once. And it was between Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday were going to be all of these interviews. The job I wanted most was the one I interviewed at first. And it's, I've never worked at a public, private charter school. I've also never worked in single gendered education. So this is a school for all girls. I wanted this job so bad, but I didn't get my hopes up because I'm like, this is the last minute, the final hour. You're like, you know, most schools have already hired all their staff for the year. You know, let's just go and hope for the best, right? Well, it was an amazing feeling the whole time I spoke with the team that I met with, and it just felt like this is exactly where I want to be. And you know, it doesn't help when you like leave the interview and it went really well, but of course you're like, I got in my truck and I'm just like, oh man, I would give anything for that to work out. An hour later, I got contacted and I was offered the job. So I don't know. Lately, I took a big leap for me, and I've spent time like praying or trying to pray again. I have a very complicated relationship with God and with Christianity. You know, it's just complicated. I can't really talk about it that much in this episode because that would be a whole episode altogether, maybe two. But I used to be very angry with God because I used to think, how could you let things happen in this world, like two boys raping a 15-year-old girl? And, you know, this is the world you created. You made all these people, but like they can do actions like this. So I was like kind of displacing my anger toward God and like toward the rape, like on God as if it was like his fault. I don't know. I'm 36 now. I was 15 then. It took me a long time between 15 and now to even get to a place where I thought I could even like give it a shot. But I was at the kind of back to the wall, like final hour of like, holy shit, like I might be like a teacher in like a few days again. And all of a sudden my whole life is going to change. I got so unbelievably lucky that it was just like a really good fit when we all met together. And it'll be tomorrow if you're watching this video, or maybe even today if you're watching this video, depending on if you watch it Tuesday nights or the next day or whatever. But I'm so excited for the opportunity, for the fresh start. I want to remind you all that in life, and this is so cheesy, and I hate to be cheesy, but like I really don't have a better metaphor for this. Like, people say things like, in life, it doesn't matter how many times you fall down as long as you always get up. Or like, you know, fall down 7 times, get up 8, right? Things like that. Cheesy, but you know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that over your life that you live with mental illness and of course trauma, because we all endure trauma, of course hardship, of course times when life is really hard and unpredictable and sucks, but there's also amazing moments to live for in between every single one of those really crappy ones. So my point to you is that you always have the opportunity to begin again. Always. And, you know, I'm somebody that, you know, it's not like I've had to start over like 2 or 3 times. Like, I've lost count of the number of times I begin again, honestly. It's at least double digits, like maybe knocking on like toward the 20s. Like, it's really a lot of times that like thought things were getting better, crash. Thought things were getting better, crash. It's just kind of like these big like waves and crashes and waves and crashes. The secret to like living a happy life that I kind of recently discovered is, you know, I wrote this book, I gave all this advice to all you guys, and at the end of the day, when I was looking for what I should do to like begin again, I like totally forgot to take any of the advice that I gave to all of you. So my next book in progress is all about the accountability of taking your own advice, because it's, you know, how many times do you think like you give great advice to others, but then maybe it's stuff like you wouldn't do yourself, right? I don't know. If you just know that it's okay, like this is your permission slip. You don't have to ask anyone, you don't have to tell anyone, you don't have to share anything about any of the times that you fall down if you don't want to. But like, you can't stay down. If you stay down, you're going to let it win and you're going to be a statistic. Someone kills themselves every 43 seconds, ages 18 and older. Every 43 seconds, somebody loses their battle. And I don't want it to ever be any of you. So don't be afraid to begin again. I'm now sitting on the edge of my seat like, oh my God, I somehow got exactly what I wanted. And I don't know, it's weird. I did pray for 3 whole nights, like out loud in a private space and tried to talk with God. And I don't know, maybe it's reading the signs. Maybe it's just me being a very hopeful and hope-filled person right now, like me connecting those two things and kind of like trying to shift the way I think about maybe like religion and things. So stay tuned about that because I think I'm on a new journey with that. But yeah, I'm going to begin again this week and I'm going to have lots to share and I'm so excited. So I will leave you with this. A couple episodes ago now, there were some people that sent me messages and asked for me to share specific lyrics and like artists that I listen to, like to help me cope. And music is like I've been listening to music every second that I possibly get that I'm not like, doing something where I can't be listening to music, like taking a shower. Well, that example. Anyway, I never shared about Cameron Whitcomb. And I did you a big injustice. I'm sorry. But it was so hard to pick. There was only like 15 minutes and there's so many good ones. But Cameron Whitcomb is an artist I discovered a couple of years ago. He's on the come up. He definitely was kind of like an underdog, one of like the little names in print on a festival circuit that would like open and play like 30 minutes and that's it. Well, now he's a headliner at festivals and now he's going on his own tours. He's from Canada. He does a lot of shows in Canada, but like he's been traveling internationally. He is somebody that is heavily tattooed like myself. Automatically liked him. He is kind of young and he has this kind of raw, like young honesty to him that I really appreciate. And the fact that he's someone that found out the hard way. He had to do it the hard way. That's actually the name of his album, The Hard Way. And it is the name of one of the songs from the album. And he did it the hard way. He had to deal with crashing all the way to hell using substance after substance after substance to just like use that to mask the pain. He was self-medicating. So many of us do this. But he got help. And he's been clean and sober ever since. And a lot of his music is about that journey and about that stuff. And I had to throw his name out there because maybe you're looking for something new to listen to. Cameron Whitcomb. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, rest of your week. I hope that if things go to shit in your life in any capacity, that you remember this video and you remember you can begin again. It's limitless. No rules. You're the one who makes the rules. So, all right. Well, it's good to see you all. Please leave me a comment, or if you have any questions, don't be shy. Also, if you watched this video today and maybe it was your first time here, welcome. I'm happy that you were here. Please subscribe and join us because I will continue to post as long as there is at least one viewer per week. So, all right, guys, talk to you soon. Bye.